Hello everyone. Yeah, we're gonna do another React video today. We got the Act Man's Why is Elden Ring So Successful video. All rights of the video, of course, go to him. Good videos, good content creator. Definitely go check out his videos if you haven't already. I noticed my first reaction video got quite a bit more likes than views that I'm used to in 2 days than most of my content. So obviously they're pretty popular. So I'll keep doing them. I figured we'll do a reaction video. This one's 22 minutes, and then we'll lead that into. I haven't quite decided on that yet. I mean, it's a video about Elden Ring, maybe some Elden Ring. I'll be inspired to play that by the end of it. If not, we got Legend of Dragon and a bajillion other games we can play. Dude, I just type it out and then not update it. Shit. Hopefully, hey, fine. Thank you, Elbom, for the hydrate. We set our TV up so every time we turn it on, it turns on to Bob Ross painting now. Used to be like this really jarring weather channel. Like either be playing like really sharp like jazz music or like just shouting at me. That good old happy Bob Ross. Maybe I could even go get my ass kicked with some Smite after this or something. I don't know. Fucking do this. Why is Elden Ring so successful? Because it's amazing.
Come on! Come on, so close! Yes! Yes! You guys, Elden Ring is amazing. It's so addicting. You know what? This game is actually terrible. No, wait. Wait. Yeah, no, I never want to play this again.
Kidding! I'm just pulling your legs.
Elden Ring is one of the greatest video games I have ever played. Hands down, not up. Hey, I
It's
killed
a fantastic
those birds, baby. I'm
fucking game.
the best. I'm the best there ever was.
Are you sure about that?
Look at this fucking shot. What? It's a boss? It's a boss? What are you, what?
That's my first time meeting him.
I find it interesting that whenever my friends ask me, yo, should I play Elden Ring? Is it worth it? I've heard it's kind of difficult. That's a little intimidating. My answer is always, yes, goddammit! If some people had asked me the same about Demon Souls or Dark Souls, my answer might have been different. But Elden Ring? Yeah, I'll recommend that to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing one of
That might be an idea for another video, another set of videos for me is to get Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 and play them, since I've never played them. Frustration lies down that path.
the rare occurrences in the game industry where a new title not only lives up to the hype, but exceeds it somehow. That's not to say Elden Ring is perfect, because the only perfect video game in my eyes is Star Wars Connect, but it gets as close to perfect as you possibly can. Most of my complaints with Elden Ring come down to personal preference. The hype isn't just real, it's beyond real. It's metaphysical at this point. If you're wondering why it's taken so long to make a commentary video on Elden Ring, it's because I have a new crippling addiction, which is Elden Ring. It's corrupting my work ethic, and as soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm going to go play it again. Please send help. This is not a joke. Not only is it a great FromSoft title, but in an industry where selling out to the latest trend is the trend, Elden Ring stays true to the roots of its Erd tree. While everyone is praising how good of a video game Elden Ring is, I think it's equally important how it defies the trends of modern gaming. Would you be surprised, though, if I were to tell you Elden Ring is also From Software's easiest game?
I always hear that, and I guess I'll find out, but Elden Ring is still fucking hard. I mean, I'm just gonna hate my life even more with Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. I know Bloodborne was fucking frustrating. I didn't get very far in Bloodborne. Oh, we'll find out.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
Oh my god. Alright, well, maybe that's a stretch. But you know what's not a stretch? Downloading and playing Dark Nemesis, the sponsor of today's video.
We'll watch the
Whenever
sponsor,
I'm
though.
getting destroyed in Elden Ring, you know what I do? I take a break and pull up Dark Nemesis on my phone, and I enter
Not
the
sure if it
multiverse.
tracks like watch time or
Engage in
something or
thrilling
anything.
battles.
But
Play
if it does, I want
anytime,
him to get the ad revenue.
anywhere, any when, any planet. Enjoy an exciting PvP experience. Squad up with your friends and duke it out in 10v10 battles. Get immersed within the epic 3D visuals and use the weapon system to level up your spirit, wings, and companions. The spirits you get can be used as mounts or transformed into weapons, so you might have some tough decisions to make. My mount is a liger, and on it I channel my inner spirit of Napoleon Dynamite.
Pedro, just listen to your heart. That's what I do.
Amen. And you can download and try out Dark Nemesis today for free using the link in the description and the pinned comment. If you do, you're eligible for gift card giveaways and in-game rewards, so why not? What are you waiting for, chump? Go ahead and play Dark Nemesis today and conquer the multiverse. Thank you, Dark Nemesis, for sponsoring this video.
And now for something completely different.
Makes me want to play it.
What is modern gaming? You know, I throw that term around a lot, and I feel I should explain what I mean. It's basically like you could summarize modern gaming with the phrase scoreboard update. That's the best way to describe it. Modern video
Fair
game
take.
releases by AAA developers have reached such an absurd level of incomplete.
And when I see the videos of the bugs for Cyberpunk, when I first played Cyberpunk, I wasn't on PC. I was on the PS4 still, and I had the slightly upgraded version of the PS4, double decker. But I never had like crazy ass bugs like these. So when I see the videos of like the bugs for Cyberpunk, I'm like, I can see how I'd be frustrated if that happened. Or like Amanda playing it on her laptop, you can like. There's times where like the ground isn't rendered in, it's just flying through air. But, like
He's
people-
driving through the sky.
people like Nintendo 64 graphics for a little while. It's fucking crazy. And then on my computer, it's just like, look at the death notes and the rays of sunshine.
Okay.
Oh,
Fuck.
It's like, well, there's no scoreboard in the game, huh? Well, guess we gotta wait for the scoreboard patch. Like, imagine how far one has to fall to
Scoreboard
reach
patch.
that. So many classic, awesome game franchises have become so eager to completely throw away their identity
I
in
want a
chase
good
of a
Dead
quick
Rising
buck.
game.
Sometimes developers completely
I
forget
miss
why
Dead
their games
Rising.
were good, and they keep making shitty ones. I'm not sure what goes on at From Software, but they've only gotten better at making games since 2009. That's a long-ass streak, dude. They're not slaves to the will of EA or Activision. They get pretty good funding, apparently. I've never heard
I
of
didn't know
From
they could-
Software employees stealing breast milk. You know what I mean? Or exploiting children in an online gambling scheme. Valve, Gabe. They've never published a disaster as broken as Cyberpunk. If ever there was a time for From Software to fail, it was with Elden Ring. Holy shit! Holy shit! The Souls games, and yes, Bloodborne and Sekiro, I'm gonna call Souls games, it's just easier that way. But the Souls games have always been criticized for being too difficult. The story and game mechanics are too vague. It's not accessible to a larger audience. Cater to my needs, please. They've been criticized for being too challenging, you know? Give me baby easy mode, please. And yet, despite a good chunk of
No
the
easy
internet
mode.
demanding from
I refuse. No easy mode. We get mods for the lazy shitheads.
Software change their method of operation, they haven't, and have continued their consistent legacy of success. Oh shit. Oh. Ah! What the fuck? What the fuck?
And there's a good old punch in the dick.
What? So now the whole should Dark Souls and Elden Ring have an easy mode debates can finally die, right? Because clearly, this game is much more accessible. Have you seen the numbers? Elden Ring has obliterated the record for peak concurrent players on Steam and viewers on Twitch. out of From Software's titles.
Video's a little
And you
bit
have
older,
to ask,
but
why is this
Elden
game
Ring's
so
still doing good.
successful? Well, it's not just a kick-ass marketing campaign. It's not just having George R.R. Martin's name associated with it. It's a genuinely good video game that has taken out a lot of the frustrating aspects that have turned away a general audience. I made a whole video on the subject of an easy mode and all the negative consequences that would
watched that
have.
one,
For those in the
video.
back that missed the memo, difficult does not mean inaccessible. Is it difficult
kick
to
it
shove
straight.
a dildo in your ass? Probably. That doesn't mean you can't do it.
Therefore offer pickle.
Difficult does not mean it's inaccessible. That's maidenless talk.
I am afraid.
That's one thing I miss about playing on
I get
normal
bitches.
Elden Ring versus seamless. It's one thing I definitely miss about playing on the seamless co-op mod. That's what all my videos have been on. Is the messages people leave. Not so much the invasions, but just the stupid fucking messages people leave. Maybe I should reroll my character on a normal Elden Ring servers until we play.
Okay, alright, I'm down. And I'm so glad that From Software was actually able to cater to these people asking for an easy mode without listening to any of their terrible ideas. You see, Elden Ring is still insanely challenging in all the right ways. Easy. Oh! Whoa! Oh, I'm alive. I'm alive. Oh, mama. We can do this.
Mama.
Whoa! As many are discussing the difficulty of bosses like Margit the Fell and Star Scourge Radahn, which,
That guy was such a
Jesus,
dick.
talk about a couple of badass names to have. In some ways, Elden Ring is more difficult than previous titles, and in other ways, it's easier. But, you know, after 80 hours, the fact that I'm still finding crazy, unique bosses is just... it's insane. The level of content that is in this game, and so polished.
This guy, he fucking pissed me off so bad too. He is a fucking cool boss, though, but what a dick.
You know, From Software didn't make the dodge, roll, block, attack gameplay loop easier. They just made it less frustrating.
I triggered a boss fight without actually... This is really bizarre. I just triggered a boss fight without going into the boss room. Do you guys see this? Oh my god! It's attacking me through the fucking wall! What the fuck? Oh my god, he's gonna kill me!
Elden Ring
What a
introduces 4 new gameplay mechanics that allow more opportunities for players to retaliate and be aggressive. Be aggressive. I think this is where we see some Bloodborne DNA in the mix. Jump attacks, summoning AI, posture breaking, and guard counters. Where you might have had to roll or block a sword swing in Dark Souls 1, in Elden Ring, some attacks can just be jumped over, leaving you a wide opportunity to come down swinging with a jump attack, which can then lead to posture breaking. It wasn't exclusive in Sekiro, but it was definitely more fleshed out. Basically, every enemy has a hidden bar to indicate when their posture will break, and they become susceptible to a riposte. And those are the moves that do the big, beefy damage. Charged heavy and jumping attacks build up this bar faster, and you can totally play around this if you want, and be more aggressive, but you can still play the classic conservative style of like, okay, one hit, backing off. One hit, backing off, and chip your
That's
enemies
me.
down. It's called
I'm definitely a hit and back off and chip your enemies down player. I try to be the other kind of player, but I'm definitely a more cautious player.
options, baby. Then there's guard counters, which add some utility and offensive power to shields. Hit R2 after blocking an attack, and you hit back. Simple as that. Finally, there's summoning, which isn't entirely new, but how it's treated is. Instead of just relying on other people and the occasional AI summon for only specific bosses, now players can summon 50 different types of AI companions for almost every boss fight. I think the Evergalls prevent you from summoning, which is cool. But otherwise, you can upgrade those Spirit Ashes and just send out like 5 golems to attack your foes.
Yeah, fuck him up. Fuck that guy.
And since your summons
that
take some
guy.
aggro, well, it gives you more chances to be aggressive and get some swings in. What From Software has accomplished is making a Souls game that gives players more options than ever before. Now, what's the one thing you hated most about dying to a boss? Was it losing your souls? Being humiliated, perhaps? Did you somehow die to Pinwheel? You godless bastard? No. The most frustrating part of
Guess I'll
losing
get that
to a
reference
boss
soon.
was having to run back to the motherfucker. It's what I like to call the loser's walk, and it's a path I tread many times. I swear to God, the reason the Beta Chaos is so hated in the community
Okay.
is because it's a cheap gimmick boss that can kill you right away, but if you die right away, you have to take 5 minutes to walk back to it. But this is where From Software shows their innovation. A great new idea are the Statues of Marika. Respawn points in certain areas, typically next to bosses. They refill your Estus and everything, but only if you die. So they function differently.
Alright, watching the videos got me inspired enough. After the video, we'll load back into normal Elden Ring. Unless you're available for some seamless co-op, Obon. I'm gonna make a normal Elden Ring character so I can get invaded and read people's stupid ass messages again. I miss it.
Differently than Sites of Grass. I can think of maybe 3 areas I've encountered where I actually had to run past an enemy before fighting the boss again. So if you get grafted by Godric, it's like, poof, you're right there. Get back up, champ. I can't tell you how impressive it is that this game doesn't rely on having you replay sections of levels, given how large it is. For what is essentially a Dark Souls 4, this is a perfect design choice.
That's fair. Just whenever you have time, let me know. We'll play more co-op. It's fun. I like it.
Notice I said design choice because Dark Souls 2 was made fun of for having a bonfire that you could literally just see down the hall. Like, it was a joke. But the Statues of Marika basically are like, okay, we're making it convenient for you to fight the boss again. But this is kind of a personal preference thing, right? Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 especially put emphasis on dangerous enemies the player would encounter before every attempt at a boss fight. I like how those games handled difficulty because it felt like the checkpoints were really checkpoints. It was an endurance
I didn't
run
even
where
see
you had
the
to
thing that was
conserve
attacking
your
him at
health.
first.
The challenge in Demon Souls wasn't so much the boss fights, but rather what condition you were in when you got to them. You literally have to get poisoned before you fight Quelaag. Like, it's unavoidable. And then you've got Demon Souls who's like, oh, you fucked up? Yeah, you did. Little bitch boy, you died to some skeletons, replay
Little
the whole
bitch
level.
boy.
Oh, what's that? Half your health bar's gone, and the game's more difficult. World tendency. So the gameplay loop that would often turn people
That
away
sounds
would
dick.
kind of go like this. Die to a boss, try to get back, try not to die to the enemies on the way, fuck that up, lose your souls, and then get pissed. So I ask you this question. What is a fair punishment for death in a Souls game? In any game? Because unless we're putting quarters in the arcade machines, the only thing a game can take from you is time, right? And your wallet if you're not a responsible human being. But Elden Ring is impressive
fair,
because
yeah.
it doesn't even attempt to waste your time. Once you get through an area, you rarely have to go back through it again. Shortcuts cut down on travel time, levels have multiple routes to get to the objective, more sites of grace than bonfires, and yet the game is still very challenging.
Oh, baby. Oh!
Get that shit out of here!
I know that feeling. I know that
From
feeling very
Software
well.
has basically taken the Demon Souls difficulty and modernized it, because it emphasizes the gameplay as the challenge more so than it does punishing you for failure. Especially since Demon Souls was an homage to old school difficulty, the Loser's Walk was a way for older games to kind of pad out the runtime. What I respect so much about From Software is they found a way to yet again make the game easier, but in ways people didn't expect. Without just tweaking numbers, without just giving you a separate option in the menus. And just as you can make the game easier or harder for yourself, you can also set parameters to make it more challenging. Personally, I don't like to summon allies for every boss. I like to try and feel it out and see if I can do it without summoning, and then if I can't, then I will. It's just play it how you want.
Fair
You
take
can
on it.
easily succeed in this game if you really want to cheese it. And here's a crazy crackpot idea. If you're stuck, go somewhere else? I, like most players, followed the advice of that dickhead who called me maidenless, which is untrue. I get bitches on the daily. And I headed straight for Stormvale Castle, where I confronted Margit the Fell with a club and scraps of armor. It didn't go well. And that was the game telling me, hey, go explore this massive open world we spent like 8 years developing. It's like, yeah, I could bash my head and try to beat Margit at soul level 8, but why do that when I can explore and get stronger and then come back with a better chance? The non-linearity basically gives you infinite time to prepare for those essential boss fights. And there are some trade-offs to Elden Ring's design. You might find yourself over-leveled in an area that no longer poses a threat, but even so, Elden Ring is the kind of game you still can't be too overconfident in.
Whoa. Whoa, what was that bullshit?
You know, I've always found it strange that FromSoft
Giant
games have
metal
been
ball.
criticized for not
I know
having
exactly
a
where that's
quest
at,
log.
too.
Where is the map? How come I don't have 100 markers and a checklist of chores to do on screen at all times? But that's the way Zelda has been, and nobody's fucking batted an eye at those games. It's the same thing, dude. Adventure games should just let you adventure through them. You know, you don't have a nav point or a compass that's pointing you in the go-to direction at all times. And I like that. The freedom to go to dangerous areas when you shouldn't is fun. To fight bosses out of order, or discover huge labyrinths by complete accident.
But the music in the background, like it's certain is out of a Wild Arms game.
That's what an open world RPG adventure is all about. And Elden Ring in this regard is nothing less than a 10 out of 10. Even if certain bosses and
but
enemies
I
are
recognize
reused
it.
more than a handful of times. And this open world doesn't make a game like Dark Souls 3 like, ew, no open world. No, it's different strokes for different folks, right? In Dark Souls 3, the game starts off and it's like, okay, you have to beat Udex Gundyr. You're not going anywhere until you do that. And Elden Ring's like, well, you can skip the tutorial. I mean, why not? Fuck it. I think Elden
Fuck
Ring
it.
is a prime example of the power of iteration. You know, making a similar game to what has proven to be successful and refining, changing certain elements of it. If you do that long enough, eventually you plateau and your work just builds upon itself. Elden Ring is successful for almost the exact same reasons that Smash Bros. Ultimate was successful. It's a combination of every good idea they've ever had before, built under the supervision of its original brainchild. If you have a winning formula, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just keep rolling, baby. When I look at games
They're
like
doing pretty
KOTOR
damn
1 and
good.
2, I think, thank God we have 2 of these. And then when I look at Paper Mario, I'm like, thank God we have 2 of these. I don't know how they keep fucking Paper Mario up, but they've done it 3 times in a row. In a world where game developers like DICE exist,
I like Paper Mario too. I was very disappointed to hear that the new ones weren't as good.
and think that their core audience is disposable and worthless, From Software, under the leadership of Miyazaki, has never strayed from this ideal. Give your fans what they want, please your core audience, and everything will fall into place. Right? They're still iterating on the core mechanics from Demon's Souls, a game that was largely considered niche until Dark Souls came along. Impressive set pieces, dynamic level design, pattern-based boss and enemy encounters, trial and error difficulty, crushing challenges, but numerous ways to overcome them. It's the same game. Yes, Elden Ring reuses some assets, animations, weapon types, blah blah blah, but it has never had a negative effect, if any, on my gameplay experience. This is coming from someone who put hundreds of hours into Dark Souls 3, the game most similar to Elden Ring. You've got the freedom of choice of where you go from Demon's Souls, the connected world from Dark Souls 1. Probably the best mechanic Dark Souls 2 introduced, power stancing, has returned to my surprise. Using 2 weapons at the same time unlocks a new moveset. We have the cool weapon skills and fluid combat of Dark Souls 3. There's larger groups of patrolling enemies like from Bloodborne and Sekiro. Stealth and jumping, though not as advanced as Sekiro, add a whole new layer to the Dark Souls formula, providing further options for player engagement. In fact, the Bloodborne mechanic of healing damage you take is a great rune in the game. They literally just put that base mechanic in the game as an option. Granted, I just activated it after 80 hours, but still, it's there. Elden Ring is basically Cell from Dragon Ball Z. It's got a little bit of DNA from all of From Software's titles to create the perfect warrior. The perfect.
Good analogy, I really like that. It's Cell.
Game.
Well, one might say that we're brothers.
What?
I think what it boils down to is just how impressive From Software's legacy is and how they continue to do that even amidst the crisis of modern gaming.
One of my favorite things about the Ackman videos is he just makes really fucking good spot-on references that I actually get. I appreciate it.
This game shouldn't work. To have such a massive world with so much content and to keep that quality bar extremely high, it's just, I don't know how it's feasible. I haven't beaten it yet, 85 hours in. It hasn't gotten old for me. It might be ballsy to say this, but I think Elden Ring might have perfected video game difficulty and defied the trends of modern gaming at the same time. Now, let us sit back and stare at this massive accomplishment.
Nicely done, gentlemen. Your work here today has made the Chancellor a very happy man.
No, 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 no.
Fucking dickhead, man.
Well, thank you all for
jeez.
watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Don't forget to check out Dark Nemesis, the sponsor of today's video. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man, signing out. Peace!
Very good video.
Real next gen games come out.
Oh. We'll do this one. I don't know if we did this one already, but I love his hot take videos. Watch a lot of his older content. I'm gonna work my way up the chain. Where's that last one? There we go. Why is Elden Ring so successful by the Act Man? Definitely are like. Go check it out if you get the opportunity. And that's it for the React video. So I'm gonna end the recording here. Thanks everybody for tuning in.